Alright, I'm here to talk about my portable chicken coop. I call it my ChickenTractor. I built it for about 20 bucks and I use it usually in the spring, sometimes in the summer, and then usually in the fall again. I use it to raise about 6 to 12 chickens in it. They come from the chick phase, and I'll just talk about how I got it for so cheap. First off, I'll talk about the metal roof. The metal roof is kind of unique. It's just this little piece of scrap metal that I found. I screwed it into the top, so it's a real cheap hinge. And then just kind of wiggle it. And the reason why metal's useful is because it bends a lot. If you did this enough with plastic, eventually the plastic would break, and it would be no good. I put some little wood pieces in here. And if you excuse me, I'm actually going to unplug it because I'm getting shocked as I'm touching the metal, which doesn't feel cool. Alright, so let's just first talk about moving this chicken coop. I move it in the afternoon, and that's the main reason is because in the morning when the dew has wet the grass, the little parasites that might or might not be in the soil crawl up to the top of the grass, and if the chickens eat it, they can get parasites. Not a big problem with chickens, but if you have cattle or sheep, that can be a big problem. So I like to get in the habit of moving everything in the afternoon, around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock when everything's dried up. So moving it, pretty simple. There's a little bit of chicken poop on there, but you know, with free-range pastured chickens, it's not really a problem. You don't have to worry about parasite disease if you do it right. So I went through there, and then I unplugged the charging wire already. And you just pull this up, stick it in here, and that's your grounding wire, and then we can go ahead and move it. Watch, just move it slowly, and the chicks will come along with you. You listen for a little squeak if you're going too fast. That's about it. And if you watch, you'll see them enjoy the new pasture that they've got. Go through, step on the grounding wire. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's a pretty short distance, so it's pretty well grounded. And then when you move it, you just push the grounding wire back in, and it's simply a wire wrapped around this little rod, and the rod is those free signs you see on the side of the road, the little signs that tell you that you can be a millionaire investing in real estate. Well, pick one of those signs up, pull the metal rod out of it, and clip it so it's just like an upside down U, and that would be your grounding rod. It's free, and those signs are everywhere and they're annoying, so I don't feel guilty about taking it. This charger is the cheapest charger I could get from Tractor Supply. You can get it from any of those agricultural supply stores, but it was about 15 or 20 bucks. I might have gotten it on sale. I'll talk about the construction. This chicken wire just serves to keep the chickens in. It won't serve to actually keep any predators out. Anybody who wants to eat the chickens will just tear this stuff up. And you can see it's just stapled in with a regular old stapler. Not even very well. The base of it, this wood right here, it's made from one 2x4 that I cut in half. And so you can see it's about 4 feet wide and 6 feet long. These uprights are actually the balusters that you can get at any home supply store, and they're about 88 cents each. They're the balusters you make a deck out of. This is all pressure treated just because it'll last a little longer. And you can see that I have some angled supports just to give it some rigidity. These wheels my wife found in the trash, and I bought some cheap bolts. And then these 6 foot long sides are actually fence slats. Again, only about $1.50 at, I think I got it at Lowe's or Home Depot, I don't know where. Anyways, really, really cheap. So this roof, if you can see, it's bent. I found it at the store, and it was bent. I asked for a discount. They gave me the whole roof for $4, $5. So this whole chicken coop came out to about $20. The charger was another $15. Now, if you just left it like that, predators would get into it, and you wouldn't have any chickens left after the first night or two. So I put little aluminum wire. You want aluminum because it's highly conductive. It's very flexible. You can reuse it. And these insulators are just run-of-the-mill insulators you can buy at the store. You screw them in, and it's about, I don't know, 4 inches off the ground and a couple inches off the cage. You don't really care if it touches the wire at all. That just electrifies the whole coop. Chickens don't mind it. Predators do. And this is the only way you're going to keep predators out of this thing. My first few nights with chickens, a raccoon would just reach its hand under here and pull the chickens out, take one bite, toss it over its shoulder, grab the next chicken. And that wasn't very much fun. Raccoons waste a lot of chickens, they just kill for fun. Eventually the foxes will eat them, but everything eats chickens, so if you plan on free-ranging chickens, expect absolutely everything to eat them. My first night of trying this coop out, I put it in my front yard like this, and I came out to get my cat, Bob, and he was standing right over here, looking at the chickens with this look like he wanted to eat them, and standing right next to him, right here, was our fox. Not our fox, the wild fox, the one that roams the... They were both looking at the chickens, wanting to eat them. So, anyways, Bob was that confident. The fox didn't bother Bob. The fox wanted the chickens. After I called Bob indoors, the fox ran away and everything was fine. But just kind of funny. Yeah. Other points about this. I only raise chickens until about 5 or 6 months old in this, maybe a little bit younger. You just want them to be full size. This is a little small for full-size birds. This will work well for chicks, but once they get bigger, this is just too small of a space. But as you can see, the chicks have plenty of space to roam around, and they love eating the fresh grass. It fertilizes my lawn. You'll see after I move this across my lawn in the spring, my grass will be dark green. It also helps to weed it. They like eating the weeds, and they love freshly mowed grass. There's a certain height. If the grass is too long, they won't eat it. If it's too short, they just turn it to dirt. But at this kind of freshly mowed stage, that's their favorite. You can see that they're drinking from the water right now. The only other thing I have to do is put their chicken feed right in here, and they can have some fresh feed. That's about it. Well, I'll talk also about the different breeds. You can see there's big chickens there and little chickens. They all hatched on the same day. The little chicks are egg-laying chickens, and then those big birds would be typically meat birds, and you can see how much faster they grow. There's no hormones or any other thing that makes them grow that fast. It's just breeding. They breed a Cornish hen, I think it is, or maybe it's a Cornish rooster, with a Plymouth Rock, and they get these. So I think these are actually Freedom Rangers, so it wouldn't be the same mix, but that's the general idea. They grow a little bit faster. It's just genetics. It's not anything unnatural. They're ready to eat around 8 weeks if you choose to eat them. And then the chickens, you can sell them or keep their eggs. And that's about it. That's about how much work I have to do every single day to take care of these birds. It's a nice, easy backyard project. You can have it pretty much anywhere that you don't have an HOA. And as long as they're not 6 months old, towns don't usually regulate them. A little bit more on this coop. This is what I call my ChickenTractor. You can see it, a real cheap hinge, which is none at all. I just use the fact that the metal flexes, and then I just prop it up, and that holds it open. I'm talking a little bit about the waterer. I grabbed an extra wheat bucket that I found. It could be any kind of a bucket. You can get a handy bucket from the store or anything like that. I've used old pretzel containers, and these are just little water nipples that you can buy. I think I got them on Amazon for a few cents each. And as the chicken tap on them, water drips out of the bottom. So you just drill a little hole in there and screw these in. That's all about that you have to do for the waterer. The feeder that I have for the chickens, again, I'm looking to keep this cheap because you never know if you want to do this for a hobby or if you want to make it more serious. But I just took a PVC pipe, glued the cap on, and then cut a little piece of plywood that would serve to just keep it from tipping over. And if you look on the inside, I cut a little round piece in there, and I just glued it in with some, I think probably silicone caulk. Before I did that, I cut these little grooves on a bandsaw, but you could also drill them if you wanted to. It just gives the chicks space to get in there. You can also buy a feeder if you want, but I had these parts laying around, so it was free. So, works. And then I'll talk a little bit about the roost here. This is just a flimsy piece of wood. I just screwed it in, and the chicks can jump on it. They like to roost at night, so this gets them off the ground, satisfies that roosting instinct that chickens naturally have. Helps them to be a little happier when they're out here. If they don't have it and they're sleeping on the ground, chickens just aren't as happy. They can get health problems. Anything that stresses out animals can give them health problems. And if you see, they're actually eating chickweed right now, which is kind of ironic, but that's what this green stuff is down here. Like these little things. It grows in the spring. It's one of the first things up. It'll die quickly and then be replaced with grass and other things like that. I don't care too much about the weeds in my yard, but it is good to have them eat it. And they also love the clover, but they haven't learned that yet. They're still fairly new. I will talk about when I put them out here. I put them in my brooder in the garage, actually, for the first 3 weeks of their life until they feathered out. And by feathered out, if you look at them, you can see they have that nice dandruff-looking fur. That's their baby coat, and then you see that they have some feathers on there. That's what feathering out means. Chicks are nice and soft and fluffy. These have their feathers. Once they get their feathers, you can put them outside, and they'll tolerate most conditions as far as coldness goes.